Welcome to Business Insight Fredericton. I'm Krista Ross, CEO of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. Today, I'm speaking to Janet White and Jill Stairs about different types of accounting firms. Janet, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about the business that you own and a little bit about what you do.
Currently I run my own monthly accounting practice. I received my business degree from UNB several years ago and decided to stay in the monthly accounting stream. I worked half of my career in the public accounting, so I kind of know what the accountants need for year ends. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of brought a good mix to what I'm doing to provide those good financials to accountants at year end.
Mm-hmm. And Jill, how about you? Tell me a little bit about you, your background, and the business that you're running.
So my background actually isn't in accounting. I have a computer science diploma, and I went back to UNB to get my business degree. I worked in both the IT and the energy sectors, and then kind of fell into accounting and started my designation and progressed in the firm that I'm in and became partner in 2015. So we are a full service accounting firm, and we rely a lot on people like Janet to provide information on our clients.
Tell me a little bit about what you do for your clients and how the roles are similar.
We assist clients with payroll, filing HST, doing monthly and quarterly bookkeeping. But then we take it a step further at the year end with doing financial statements and corporate tax returns, and then the advisory services about like industry comparatives and if people are purchasing or selling a business. So we kind of take it that one step further. So while we do a bit of that compliance piece, we don't do a lot. So then most small to medium-sized businesses aren't big enough to have a full-time finance person on staff. So then they rely on people like Janet for that compliance piece of things and keeping them up to date and making sure their bank is reconciled and all of that kind of stuff. So while we offer similar services, Janet goes more in depth and on the preparation of year ends for clients.
Janet, from your perspective, how do you see your roles as similar or different?
We take the books from the ground up. We start at the base level. We are the ones usually talking with the clients on a monthly basis or even more than that. So what my accounting practice, after some few years of experience, we try to bring to the table is a good monthly accounting financial for every client. We consider ourselves part of a team with the accountant and the client. So a lot of times if I do have questions, we will rely on the client to answer those questions. And at year end, I actually do like a small, I call it my year end accounting file. I will send it off to the accountants and they can make any adjustments necessary. A lot of the times it's just a couple of things, the amortization or doing the corporate taxes, of course. And I provide that extra service above probably some of the other people that are doing monthly accounting in the city. I give them that year-end file.
I'm interested in hearing from both of you. What type of training is involved with what each of you do? And tell me about certifications and designations, these sorts of things. I'll start with you, Jill.
Okay, so most people that are in a senior position in a public accounting firm hold a chartered professional accounting designation. So you need a business degree to start, and then it takes between 2 to 5 years to get the training, and then you write a 3-day exam to become a CPA. And then after that, you have to have so many hours of experience to keep and maintain your designation.
So Janet, from your perspective, what are the designations or certifications that someone would need to work in your profession?
We know in the industry right now, a lot of places are having a hard time finding people that are properly trained in the industry. So myself, I've gone out, and my vision and part of my business is to bring these students from these programs like MBCC, the 2-year program, and develop them and mentor them and train them. So sometimes we do take the payroll certification course to bring it kind of to a different level. But that's all part of the training and mentorship, and that's what I see my business going, is to continue to train these young people coming out, to give them a good career moving forward and to be valued for what they do.
So tell me how closely businesses like yours actually interact on a monthly, quarterly, or at the annual reporting basis.
Typically, it could be, if there's questions, we will reach out to the accountants. A lot of times it's at year end. If there's any questions that Jill may come back with on the file, we can easily answer those, or we'll collaborate with the client on that. We try to have all that information ready and at hand so there isn't anything to come back.
So Jill, we often hear about the proverbial shoebox full of receipts.
Yes.
Don't want that.
So I'm not sure how often you have to deal with those sorts of things these days, or is it a lot easier if it comes through a bookkeeping firm?
Oh, it's definitely easier if it comes through a bookkeeping firm. If people are looking to save money on fees, chances are you should probably have somebody put it together for you first before you bring something like that in. For us, what we collaborate with firms like Janet's is if the client comes to us and they want to expand or they want to purchase or sell a business and we need to do cash flow projections or pro forma future-oriented statements.
Tell me about your firm and tell me about your role in the firm.
Yep, so our firm is Day Kelly & Associates. We've been a Fredericton-based firm since 1981. We've seen several iterations and progressions of partner retirements. So currently, myself and Jackie Dablay Hakimian are the partners with the firm. We have 18 staff. Our clients run from Woodstock to Moncton, and I have some overseas now that you do a lot of things remotely. So yeah, we service mostly small to medium-sized businesses on the business side, but we also have sole proprietors and personal taxes as well.
Janet, tell me about your business and your role in the business and the other players.
The name of my business is Janet White Accounting, Inc. We currently are still growing. I actually just have a new MBCC student in the last couple of weeks, and she's working out great. So we're looking forward to continue bringing students in, continue the training. My job is really to oversee and do a review of the monthly accounting and help to prepare and pull those year-end files together for the accountants. We still want to continue to work from the ground up and provide that good insight that we can, as much as we can. But I think for me, my role is just an overseeing. I am chief financial officer for a couple of places in town. So I'm out a bit of the office, but there's still always learning and training going on inside.
What do you think is the most important value or the most important thing you do for your clients?
We like to educate the client on their role, not so much as the shoebox landing on the table anymore. I think people are looking for good value for their dollar for the services that are provided, and the shoebox might not be the best alternative. It's better to come in with things organized. But I'm thinking lately, since the last few years, in the way that monthly accounting has changed with cloud-based accounting, it's just brought things to a whole different level.
What about in your business, Jill? What do you think is the most valuable thing you bring to your clients?
Probably insight into the numbers, so we can let people know how their business is doing compared to other businesses in their industry or other businesses in the city. Providing insights on how to get the best bang for your buck.
Given that you do provide some overlapping services, do you see yourselves as competitors or do you see yourselves as collaborators?
My viewpoint is I look at is as a team.
Mm-hmm.
The small business owners coming and they can't have all those people in-house, so they're looking for those people that can fill those spaces.
Yeah, I see it definitely as a collaboration. If information flows both ways, and when you start working with somebody like Janet, and you start to rely on their systems, their processes, their numbers, and then you know that the client is being served well.
One thing that I hear from small business owners is the complexity of whether it be filing taxes or just the overall financial picture, just because there are so many software programs and so on. Tell me how IT has changed your business, and also, do you have to be on the same platforms and using the same programs in order to collaborate together?
No, we don't necessarily have to be on the same platforms. I think at the end of the day, people are looking for a balance sheet and they're looking for an income statement, and they want to verify those numbers. So there's several softwares that we use. Cloud accounting has really blown the whole accounting industry. I mean, a lot of times during COVID, we didn't even see our clients we were still working remotely.
I think the last time I checked our system, we had 18 or 19 different types of software installed. So clients bring us a backup or we connect to the cloud or whatever, but we have to know all of them. It is definitely an evolving workplace when it comes to professional learning. We're always having to learn new software.
So I have a question for you. You've both mentioned the term cloud accounting, cloud-based. For those viewers who aren't accountants or bookkeepers or have anything to do with it, what does that even mean?
Your information is stored in the cloud on the world, somewhere there's a piece that has your information stored, and you're always able to access it. So that's a little scary for people, especially who are like old school or come from doing accounting when we used to sit at a desktop and do that kind of thing. But yeah, it's able to be used by several users. So if I have a file in the cloud, I can invite Jill to that. The client can be working on it at the same time.
And it looks the same every time, and you can access it from any machine. A lot of people get scared around the security piece of that, but the good ones that you pay for, they have bank level security.
So one of the things I also hear from our chamber members is that it's difficult to find talent. It's difficult to find people to work in their industries, but also to do such things as their in-house bookkeeping. So how hard is it for you to find qualified individuals to work in your firms?
Where my vision is to hire from the ground up and train and mentor from the ground up, I'm looking to MBCC. They're bringing out some great graduates from the 2-year BAA program. They are hands-on, a little different than taking your business degree. It's not as hands-on, and depending on which route they want to take. So for me, I've decided to start from the ground up and train. Yes, hiring is difficult right now. The phone calls that probably Jill and that I've received over the last few months is just crazy because people can't find qualified people to work in their offices.
We also struggle. So people that come through a shop like Janet's that get a few years of really good experience, if they apply to us, we almost always hire them because we like people with experience with 3 to 5 years of good, solid bookkeeping experience at the technician level. But then also, if you're a new graduate, we hire a lot of co-op students. We hire a lot of recent business graduates that are looking at the CPA program. But then at that middle and senior manager level, it's really hard to find. And I know I've talked with partners and firms across the city, and we're all in the same boat. We're all looking for that very scarce resource. And we kind of have a professional creed that we don't poach from other firms. So the uniqueness for our industry probably is the demographic shift that's maybe not unique to the industry, it's across Canada. But a lot of folks that are in public practice are, 60 plus, and they might be the sole practitioners that have a client load of, 700 clients, and they don't have anybody to succeed them. So when they shut down their practice, there's 700 clients that are going looking for other practitioners. We could grow our business exponentially, except we can't find the staff, and we refuse to take on business that we can't service.
Well, one thing I know about both of you from my own personal experience is you're both great leaders. We took a leadership training course together.
Yeah.
That's how we met, and after that you decided to join the chamber and get involved in the work that we do. And Jill, we met through the chamber as well, and you now sit as the president. Tell me about your leadership journey.
I guess for me, in the business community, it was joining the chamber, sitting around the boardroom table and getting to know other business people and how they think and whatnot. I've found in the last probably 10 years that I've become a source of people as a sounding board, both professionally, like in a client relationship capacity, but also just for a lot of business owners in the city that maybe aren't even my clients. I enjoy being in a leadership position.
And I know that leadership and mentorship has been an important aspect of your business. Tell me about that.
I guess I would consider myself, I've always been a bit of a leader. I like to put a positive spin on things out there and to make it to the forefront to see that, yes, the value that we provide is part of the piece of the pie, it's part of the package. And to be paid a good career in doing that and to make a good monthly accounting practice. I think it's something that's, with the change of times, it's happening for sure. And we can be those experts that people need to get those financials done.
Welcome back to Business Insight Fredericton. I'm Krista Ross, CEO of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. Learn more about different types of accounting practices from Janet White and Jill Stairs. One of the things that I know is very valuable in any business is good advice. Mm-hmm. You both give good advice, but tell me about the good advice that you've received. What's the best advice you've received in your career?
Over the past few years, I've worked with a business consultant. And you know how we're always talking about workplace and home life balance. And now you're seeing things written about that doesn't happen. But part of the program training that I did was called PI, Profit, Impact, and Joy, and Enjoyment. So I look at my business in those three pieces. Yes, we are in business. We want to have a profit. We want to bring home a good paycheck at the end of the week. The impact, for me, myself, obviously, is bringing these students in and giving them a good career in the industry. And enjoyment. Do I enjoy what I'm doing? Yeah, probably like Jill, we like to see those numbers balanced. And we might balance them from 10 different directions, but at the end of the day, we do get joy in doing that.
What about you, Jill?
So slow down, make sure that when I'm talking to clients, when I'm talking to staff, when I'm talking to business leaders, that they understand where we're coming from and the journey that you have to go on, and then the end result and communication. And that's become, like Janet said, even more important since COVID, and in the staffing issue that we have is, probably really listening to clients, but also to staff. My role is to remove barriers to make their job easier, and how can I do that? And if I'm too wrapped up in the firm doing things and at that high level, I'm not paving the way for everybody else to come up to that high level.
Well, you've both mentioned the word COVID in your answers. I'd like to know, how did COVID impact your business?
80% of our clients are small business, and all the forecasts were saying 50% of those were going to fail by the end of the year. So we were looking at, oh my God, how's that going to impact us? And then just the ever-evolving government support programs, having to understand it, parse it through, and then communicate it to clients, and then help clients navigate the application progress. But I had never been so busy in my entire career as that first 8 months of COVID. It was, I'm not going to lie, probably the worst time to be in our industry. And we did have staff that burned out, and they left at the end of 2020. They just couldn't handle it. And looking back, it was a lot, and we tried to support people as much as we could, but we also had to support clients, and it was a rough go.
Janet, tell me how COVID impacted your business.
I understand all the things that Jill went through. There was a bunch of uncertainty. People didn't know what was happening. Are they going to be able to stay in business, not stay in business? Who was going to be able to pay their bills? On the upside to all that was I dove in head first into softwares. It almost forced the accounting industry to move faster than it initially was. We were kind of trudging along to get into cloud accounting. COVID forced everyone to do that and learn how to use their phone and how to take a PDF with their phone. So we're constantly training clients on those pieces. So COVID, yes, it certainly was a disruptor for everyone, but it made some of us more super energized to even move what we had going further.
The business community was certainly nervous about the outcomes, nervous that their businesses would not be able to get through COVID. I'm wondering if you had any clients that had to close their business during COVID.
For myself, no. They had to maybe change their plan in what they had envisioned to see where their business might be going. They might have downsized.
What about you, Jill?
Yeah, so we didn't have anybody that closed during COVID, during while the government supports were in place. Unfortunately, we have seen a few since then that just haven't been able to recover fast enough. So they've had to make the difficult decision to close their doors. But overall, I would say 95% of our clients definitely made it through. What I found interesting is a lot of those clients that are in their mid-50s, those are the ones that I'm seeing a lot of staff buyouts, employee buyouts, or they've put their business for sale, or they've pivoted and they've changed what they're doing or how they're doing it, and that's exciting.
So tell me what you see as a growth trajectory for your business.
We could probably triple our business if we had access to staff that could really help and do the work. In a client service business, you don't want to become unresponsive or not be able to take care of your clients. And if you take on too many without the staff to support it, then you lose clients. We consistently grow year over year, 5 to 10%, but we could go much, much higher than that if we had the right folks working for us.
I'm on the same kind of notion as Jill. We could double, we could triple overnight. My projected business plan is to gain another students coming through, mentor, and continue to grow.
Janet, tell me, what is the biggest success you've experienced as a business owner, as an entrepreneur? What are you most proud of?
I think for myself is the training of these young people coming out. I just want to see them have a clear path and have good information and good education and understand the files and understand the inner workings of it.
How about you, Jill?
But I would say the business transition piece of my practice. So there's, over the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a lot of businesses that have evolved. So whether they've sold a piece or they've had employees buy in and that transitionary period, and everybody's happy. The new owners are happy. The old owners are happy. We've helped facilitate amongst all the advisors. Generally, as our role is pulling all the pieces together and making sure everything's together. And that's a huge sense of accomplishment. Our people, definitely, as we have, co-op students turn into CPA students who turn into graduates, and their success, and mentoring them to talk with clients and build their own client base and those kinds of things. That's a personal success. But for me, my success is when my clients succeed.
I'm interested in advice. What advice would you give someone who's interested in becoming a bookkeeper, becoming an accountant, working in the field of numbers?
Don't plan a trip south at all,
Ever.
in the winter months.
Yes.
If you are a sunbird, probably not the profession for you, because our busiest time is January to June. The other thing is, if you like solving problems, if you like puzzles, and if you like to learn, continuously learning, you will be a phenomenal success.
I agree. We want to be able there to assist the client. So, yeah, get the training. And any client, any employers out there, if you can find someone who's trained, or you are able to give them the training, that's a huge piece right there.
Tell me how you know if your clients are satisfied at the end of the day.
When it comes to monthly accounting, a lot of the times the client is totally involved in what's happening. One really good example I have is a young self-employed entrepreneur came in. She was behind on her things, didn't quite know how to get done, had to catch up on some HSTs. And we did 2 years in a row. And when she walked out of my office hugging her binders of information, she said, "Janet, this is enabling me to take my business to the next step."
What about you, Jill? How do you know when you've been successful with a client?
For me, would be solving problems clients didn't know they had. So we get in and we start looking at it and we start talking and asking questions, and I can say, "Hey, did you think about this?" Or, "Hey, did you think about that?" Or, "Have you thought about doing it this way?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh," and I might have saved them $10,000, or I might have opened up an opportunity for them.
Well, I want to thank you both for talking to me today. I think it's going to be very interesting for our viewers to learn more about bookkeeping, about accounting, about monthly, about annual, and just how you both work together in your fields. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sig.
Krista.